There's a very strange phenomenon where people will sometimes just buy the crystal, and raw crystals, which are easier because they don't have to be tumbled to be incredibly smooth and shiny and perfect, but they're just tumbled slightly so they don't have the sharp edges to scratch you, but they're still pretty rough. Like these guys can actually be more popular than the ones that are super smooth and shiny and perfectly rounded off. Like these guys. So, and then here's an even wilder phenomenon, and that's a beautiful, or, you know, I don't want to compliment myself, but a slightly more wavy, intricate wrap like this. Not like incredibly intricate, but, you know, a little bit fancier, is often completely passed up for something that's pretty much no wrap at all. I didn't make this. This is just an impulse item that teens and 20-somethings just buy like crazy. There's no wrapping at all. It's just the crystal that they want. So there's this happy medium where sometimes they love the crystal and they just want a minimal amount of wrapping. Just kind of a little cage to hold it. And that makes them feel like it's handmade and it's unique and it's cool, it's kind of hippie, and it's a crystal, but it's like a beautiful raw crystal, and so they get excited about that. So these are a little bit superior sometimes in sales-wise to even this or this, because it's like this happy medium. Anyway, so these happen to have a hole drilled through them, the top. It's weird to find raw crystals with a hole drilled through them, but it's not necessarily. You can find strings of them at the art store where there's a whole bunch of them just strung together, or you can find them online. And so I'm going to do one where I wrap it like that, where I use the hole as an anchor. So much easier. But really, these raw stones have so many crags and cracks and stuff for the wire to grab onto that they're really, if you're going to do a simple wrap, they're easy to wrap, period, regardless of whether it's drilled or not. The drilled hole can give you a little more freedom to do some stuff, but it's really not needed that much. All right, so let's do one of each. We'll do one straight one and one completely non. So I think I'll take let's take this blue one. And this is I think this is quartz with a little bit of dye added. 22 gauge silver plated wire, silver plated copper is a really good go-to for this. You can use regular copper or other earth tones, but silver sells 2-to-1 with these kind of things. So I pretty much make them twice as many silver and then half as many other earth tones with the copper and the anti-copper. So here I put it through the wire as is standard for me. I'm gonna and here's the fun thing. The hole is at the top of this one, but it doesn't have to be. It could be at the bottom and the hole will still be pretty much really useful. So what I'm going to do is, and whether the hole's at the bottom or the top, it'll be the same. I'm going to crimp both of these going around the same way, and then I'm going to start to wrap them diagonally up. And really you could do it, you could go right to the top and make your bail, or you can wrap down and wrap back up. It's as long as you don't have any loose loop that could get caught. There's really, just have fun with this. So you know what, I think I'm going to just try something different. I'm going to go up to the top with this and down with this one. Okay, so I'm diagonaling, just wrapping it around and around, and now I'm just going to come back up. Yep, that's pretty much the whole wrap right there. It's like very little going on. Now this strand, I'm just going to come around once, and we'll bring them together up here. Now the other thing is, you want to, how does the crystal lay? You don't want it to be on an end where it's going to keep flipping. You want to flip it around a few times before you wrap it. Take it and flip it and find out which way does it lay the nicest, which really looks like the definite front. Some of them, they'll have a few options, but most of them, if you flip them around, there's a place where they just come to land more than the other sides of it. And so keep that in mind even as you're twisting and turning, where you want the front to be. So now I'm going to I like to give the bail a nice little twisty top, because it just adds a little touch. You don't have to. You could just make a double loop with these strands, but... So I'm holding them at about a right angle, like this. But they're both going diagonal up like that. But if you measured this, it would be about a square angle right there. And I'm trying to keep it that way. And you can hold this and twist the stone, or you can hold the stone and twist the wire. I'm going to try just twisting the stone. And that's working pretty good so far. And you want to usually give yourself a little bit more than you think you need. Now, I like to have these two wraps come across at the very top. Sometimes I like to have them swirl up and connect at the very top. This one I ended up on this end here, and I don't like that, but I'm gonna come around and fix it. So, as I was swirling it, it started pulling it down too. So I'm gonna push it back up here like this. Actually, I can get it up there right now. There we go. Got it right on the top of the stone instead of on the side of it. And give it a few more twists right here to hold it right there. Okay, there we go. It might be better to twist the wire, because now I see what happened when I twist the stone. So I'm going to do the rest twisting. Oh, I'm kind of doing both. I don't even know what I'm doing. What am I doing? I think I gave myself too much now. No, let's just throw this whole thing out. Now let's keep going. All right, so I forget, where was... Okay, there's the definite top, and it lays flat. So we're going to hold it, turn it on a right angle, pull these strands together, and then we're going to turn this into a loop. And as we turn it into the loop, the weak spots will make sharp corners. That's okay, we'll fix that in a second. Now, that's too much of a loop. I gave myself too much. That's okay. I'm going to come around like that. And the corners I'm going to flatten out. You'd think you'd use your round nose to make it rounder, but no, you actually want your flat nose, and you want to flatten those sharp corners to see how the roundness comes back to it as you do that. And you know, don't squeeze too hard. You don't want to scratch the wire, but really don't be timid either. Like, get in there. So once I have about the size I want, that's still too big. A little smaller. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to fold this around once, all the way around. Okay. Now it's still a little bit... See, that's on the corner. I don't want it like that. I want it on the very top, so I'm going to manhandle it. Just squeeze it back. There we go. There we go. See how easy that was? And it's going to keep wanting to go back until I secure it better. So now we just look at it and we figure, well, what do we want to do? You can take these strands separately. You could put them together. But you don't want to put too much, because people are buying. Remember, we're selling to people who just are interested in the crystal. So I'm just going to... It's really finished at this point. I'm going to maybe do one more. Maybe I'll come down. Come down about like that. Just give it a little more character. No, I don't even like that. It's too much. We're going to be very minimalist. That's okay. That's not too much. Okay. Come back around. And there's a little empty spot right in there pretty much, so just give it one more right there. Okay? And that'll be good. All right, if we get it up high here, we can use this part to anchor this to pull it back the opposite way where it wants to keep pulling, and that'll solve that problem. Okay, so we'll pull that, come around, give it a few good loops to make the scarf. This wire is getting in the way. There we go. Oh, yeah. Get out of the way. There we go. Start stacking those scarf all the way up. Now, don't go all the way up. You need room for him to do some scarfing too. So I think we're going to stop right there. Give it a good cut. Right in the middle. Right in the middle of where it goes across the loop. Make sure you don't cut the wrong part. Make sure you be very careful. Cut just the right amount to tuck, not too much. You'll learn to eyeball it as you get better at it. And then I'm going to pinch this on a diagonal. And just shove that sharp end right into the bowl there. Okay, and check out our, is it totally round? It's a little bit. There we go. Just give it a little bit of tweaking. And that's pretty good. Okay. Now, does it feel secure? Feel secure from every direction pretty much. It still could use a little strength coming from that corner. Can we do anything about that? Sometimes no, sometimes yes. Let's give it a shot. See if we can, you know what, I'm going to come around one more right here, because that's still kind of a little bit of an empty spot in there. So if I come around, I'm see how I can do this. There we go. Yeah, now we can come straight up from this corner and grab it at that end, scarf it once, and then start stacking the scarves higher. Come around a couple times, and that's high enough. Cut it again to be sure. If you cut too much and you go to tuck and it doesn't tuck right, you can always pull it back out, recut it. You know, tucking is a very important part. Get it in there good. Now this is done. That's it. Look how simple that is. You can grab it straight down perpendicular and give it a crimp on each part, or 2 on each part. And then it'll go from looking like this to looking like that, or go from looking like this to looking like that. It's up to you. You know, I actually, with some of these, I kind of like the just straight lines better, and I think a lot of people do too. And some people like the crackle lightning look. The crackle lightning look definitely holds the stone better. So if it's ever a problem where the wire is slipping, you definitely want to give it some crimps to hold it tight. Because when you start crimping it, it just grips the stone in all different places, and it makes it much more secure. So that's it. You could turn these bales sideways and put your cord or chain right through. I always like to turn them facing forward and then put a couple of jump rings. I feel like it adds an extra little touch at the top. But whatever you want to do, keep it simple or put a little flair. This has been... Oh, I also said I was going to wrap one okay, so we'll do this one. This is a tiny one. I wish I had a bigger one to show you. I have these big, fat, ugly ones. I don't even know what they are. It looks like granite that they picked up out of the street. This has some sparkly in it. Anyway, I'm just rambling. Actually, this is a labradorite. Let's see, there's a flash in there. That's kind of pretty. But the rest of it, you can't even tell. So, you know what? Let's wrap this, right? I could do another amethyst, and it would be beautiful, but let's give you a sense. This is really the size you want to aim for. This is like a good chunky, it's like twice the size of a marble, like maybe 2 marbles. So even though this isn't the most beautiful stone from most of the angles, except for that one right there, let's do it. And this time we'll use 22 gauge anti-copper just to give you another, you know, look at how it looks. Obviously, the silver has been coming out hard and the copper is nice and soft, so it's going to be even easier. Again, this time I'm going to take a full 2 feet to be safe, maybe a little more than 2.5, maybe almost 2.5, almost a whole meter. And now, where's the front? Where's the top? I wish I could show this, but I'm going to pretend it's not there. This is just a raw crystal in your brain. It's not something I found in the parking lot, so stop teasing it. Don't make it feel bad. It needs to grow up and believe in itself, okay? So I think this is the front, this is the top. This is what I'm feeling. I think it agrees. I think it just nodded. All right, so you can do this with 2 wires or 1 wire. I did it before with 2 wires. I think I'm going to try 2 wires again. I wasn't planning to do this, but I think I'm just going to take my big wire and cut it in half. See, hopefully it'll come out right. So put the 2 ends together, come down to the end, get it right in the very middle, cut it in half. Okay. Now, it's good I have these 2 strands together because let's do this. Let's put them completely together like that, all right? And bring those 4 strands together so we can find the midway point. All right, the midway point's right about there. Okay, let's give it a little crimp. And we want to take them like that, turn them like a plus sign. All right, plus sign, and twist. and twist, and twist. Give it about 4 twists, 4 or 5. Okay? Ta-da! Move, stretch these out a little bit. Okay? Now, this is going to be the bottom of the stone. I did this once in a video before with a slippery one, which is hard, but with this guy, it's going to be much easier, hopefully. We'll see. So here is his top, here's his bottom, this is his front, okay? So we're going to put this right about here. You could do it like that, or you could do it like that. It doesn't matter what you want. I'm going to do it like this, because it just feels like it would be easy to grab on right there. Try to find a crag to put it in, that's even better. So it's not the exact bottom, it's like right in that little crag. There we go. Now, I'm going to press it tight against the stone. We're holding it from all different angles. And we're going to look for a place for these wires to come back together. So they're hugging this whole chunk right here. They're going to come back together, and then we're going to twist them tight. Twist them again, 4 or 5 times. Twist, twist, twist. And then lay it flat. I think I did that 6 or 7, but that's okay. Lay it flat, okay? And then we're going to start hugging it up higher. Let's come on this side now before we go any further. Do the same thing this way. We're going to come right here. Oh, there comes that flash. Look at that pretty flash. So we're going to hug this corner. It doesn't have to be a giant part sticking out. It's just a part where you think the wire will be able to hug it and not slip off. Cross, twist, 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 twist. Push it flat against the stone. And now these 2 sets of arms and these 2 sets of arms are coming up in the top to all hug each other. They're going to be reunited at last. It's reunited and it feels so good. We're reunited because we understood. All right? So I'm pressing against the stone everywhere, really tight. Now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I really don't know what I want to do now. I think there's a way most people do this. It's different, but I'm going to do classic weird mat stuff. So I'm going to bring all of these together as one giant strand, I think. Let's see if this works. This might be a disaster. If this is a disaster, then, just don't recommend this video to anyone. So, all right, I have all 4 strands coming together, and I'm just going to grab them as a whole like this and twist. Just one big twist. Whoops, that one's not even participating. He somehow got... All right. I don't want to twist them. I want to twist them all the same direction, so I had to bring him around like that. All right, there we go. There we go. Look at that mess. It's a beautiful mess. It's kind of pretty with the flash showing. All right, ready? And keep twisting. We're going to make a big fat bail with this. Just twist and twist. So it's twist again like we did last summer. Was twist again like we did last year, remember? Do you remember when things are really humming? I think you do. Am I going to run out of wire here? I might. I hope not. Let's just keep these. One strand was falling behind. I had to catch him up. I've never twisted 4 strands before, ever. I'm not joking, so I had no idea if this was going to work. I'm kind of enjoying it, though. It's kind of it's turning into a very crazy rope here, but you see that? You love it? I think you love it. I think you love it. I think you love it. Okay, that's enough, right? That's a long enough bail. This could be a tree. I think I'm just going to make this a tree. I'll plant it right here. See if it grows. Now, let's turn this on a right angle. And once again, we're going to make our bail. Let's just give it little bends. It's coming around. Coming around. I don't even remember. What was front and back? Was that front? That was front, right? I want to say that is front, but I like that side, but that doesn't lay as flat, so, okay. All right. And once again, we got this weak spot. It's making a sharp corner. We're gonna get rid of that with the pliers. All right, I think I made it just about the size I wanted. Get rid of the weak spot, make sure. Got to squeeze extra hard because it's 4 strands. All right. Yes, yes. Are you loving it? Just take all 4 strands and just scarf it on itself like that. And it's not going to go anywhere because it's being anchored from all 4 sides. pretty much. So we're just going to use all 4 sides to just wrap it up. Is that the front? No, that was the front. Now this bail keeps wanting to twist on me. I got to hold the bail tight as I wrap the scarfing. Oh, this could be pretty. Let's stretch out each of these strands and get them really untangled so the scarf is nice and neat. Man, this is a little bit tricky. There we go. These two are kind of curled up. Let's straighten them out. All right, let's see. Nice. He's nice. Okay. Yes. Get it. Get it. Now, if I'd given myself more wire, I probably could have room for a decoration or two, but this is just bare wrapping. Bare wrapping, like wrapping while bare, wrapping while not wearing clothes, or bear wrapping, like wrapping up a grizzly bear, whichever you prefer. This strand didn't make it. He didn't make it all the way around, so we're going to cut him and tuck him early. He's going to get tucked right there. These guys are going to make it all the way around, so we'll tuck him. And these guys will get tucked right here. See if I can tuck all 3 at once. Nah, that's crazy. Oh, if I pinch them together, maybe. Nah, that's too much. See, those are a bit too long. I'll get a little tiny snip. Get them really good so they tuck really well, even more. Okay. Just jam that in there. All right, that needs a little bit more rounding off. Okay. Which is our front. That's our front. All right, strong. It's pretty strong. These didn't really hug that part, but the rest of it was good. This hugged it. You examine all your parts. This hugged it. Make sure there's nothing that's going to slip off. This is hugging it good. Now in the back, you can give it crimps without messing up your design if you don't want crimps to show, because the back will still strengthen it, and that way I can spread these guys out and try to make them at least pretend to be doing something useful. They're really not, but whatever, we'll leave them like that. Now, I feel like this is boring. I can't handle this much boringness. And this is not a particularly wild stone. It just looks like, a little bit of shiny granite. So I am going to put some little, what am I doing? Crimping. I'm going to crimp. I usually crimp all in one direction, but this one is going the way I don't want it, so I'm going to crimp it backwards. When you crimp, you want to go straight down, and you want to grab tight, and you want to twist carefully while you're holding with a lot of pressure. If you go gentle, you're going to slip and scratch the wire, and then you have other issues. You're going to have to sandpaper it and use a Sharpie to mark off the scratch look, or maybe just start over if it's really bad. All right. I think that's pretty good. If I had wire left, I could have went back across the front and just had fun doing cool designs at that point. In fact, let's just do that. Let's break my rule of always, using only the wire we started with. This is a pretty piece, right? This stone deserves a little bit of beauty. He's a rough guy, and he's been picked on in school, and now is his time to shine. So I'm just cutting off about a foot, a little more than a foot. I'm wrapping it around the back of his neck, like that. Coming together, give it one twist, right? Bring the strands together. Okay. One more twist. All right. Just enough to get it tight. Okay, see that? Now we're going to have some fun. We're just going to press it flat against the stone, and we're going to give him some cool curls, curly hues, and some pretty little designs. Got to get this. The strands got tangled. I had to untangle them right there. Okay. Pressing tight against the stone. Yes. Just not a lot. We don't want to go crazy. He doesn't want to like be picked on for showing off too much. You know, people say, oh, you think you're so special now because you have some swirls. But we want to give him just enough that people say, oh, look at good Gary. Not bad, Gary Rock. His name is Gary Rock. Rock is his last name. And look at that. I gave myself just enough that we're going to come straight down the bottom, wrap it right over the bottom. Has some good crags to grab it in there. Come right up the back, right? And we're going to add a little more to the scarf to finish it off. Come right up the back and around once, around twice, and tuck it back here. That one strand almost didn't make it. You got to pull him a little tighter. There we go. Tuck them both in good. If you don't have enough to tuck it, you got to unwrap it and tuck it in the next available place, or you know, wherever. But make sure your tucks are good. Every once in a while, I'll add a tiny drop of E6000 right in there. It doesn't even touch the stone. It just keeps the wire from ever getting like a little bit caught on something and then coming undone and scratching someone because the wire got pulled out. Now we examine it from every direction. This is wiggling a little, but it's not gonna move in any direction. It probably will never get snagged. The rest of this is super tight. Oh, look, we got a little flash on that side. Look, Gary he's feeling proud of himself now. He's showing off his right side, not just his left side. See that little tiny flash right in there? Little blue. Okay. All right. These two coming up the back, they're wiggling a little more than we need. So we'll give them a little crimp. You can even give them a double crimp if you want. Examine the front. Make sure it didn't change it. Oh my gosh, I'm almost up to half an hour. Well, anyway, this is some simple stuff for you guys. So everybody is here to say goodnight. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for spending this time with us. We will see you again very soon. Even naked Nancy over here, who has no wrapping at all, should be bashful, but she's an exhibitionist, and you know, all she cares about is she has a silver top on, just silver hat, and then she's out to party on the town. It's crazy crystal there. That's a crazy crystal. These guys are like, oh, whoa. These all are like, whoa. And the parents are like, don't hang out with that crazy rose quartz because she's just parties too hard. You'll get yourselves in trouble. That's what Mom told the rest of them. Anyway, we won't shame this nice rose quartz. She's a good girl, maybe. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of these guys in the Gary wants to be included. Don't leave him out. Now we could also have done Sandra and Lenny, Rachel, Bartholomew, Susan is another one that she was picked on a lot, but we'll get to her next time. Have a great night, guys.